Hello and welcome back to Trash Book Toy Reviews. Today we are taking a look at Gamera because the teaser trailer for the new anime just dropped and I am just as excited as everyone else seems to be. And I wanted to talk about this old vinyl figure. This is the Gamera as he appeared in Gamera 3 Revenge of Iris, but this is the older figure that came out in 2001, not the one that just was released a couple years back. So just a very quick history of this guy. Gamera's been in the movie since the 60s. Anyone who doesn't know about Gamera but likes Godzilla should absolutely check him out. He is awesome. A lot of his monsters are crazier and cooler than Godzilla's monsters in my opinion. He's had a few incarnations, and this is the version from the last movie of the Heisei series. At this point in the series, he's a little bit more dark and dreary, and you can really see it on the sculpt. He looks a lot sharper and more defined in many places than his older forms. The first movie of the trilogy, he actually looked really adorable in my opinion, but in this one he has almost a scary, worn, weathered vibe to him. Let's hash right into the figure, because that is pretty much everything I want to start with just for the history. This is a slightly meaner version of our old friendly turtle. So for those coming back to the channel or those new here, I take a look at figures for my reviews in 3 core categories. We're looking at the sculpt and detail, the paint and color applications, and then finally the either posing or articulation. With these ones it's always a little harder just because there is articulation, but they're really not made for that. The score might be changed a little bit depending on accessories, build of the figure, etc. But let's get right into the first section here, the details and sculpt. So starting here with the sculpt, just going from the head, you can see the teeth are nicely sculpted out. We do have that little vinyl chunk in there, but that's par for the course for figures from this time. You can see his tusks. All the skin detail here on his neck and head just looks amazing. Even with the eyes here, you can see all the lines individually sculpted out. Just the section by the eyes are so nicely detailed. It's really, really nice to see. He's got his little mohawk thing. We've got going down here on the shell. His shell looks perfect, just like at a picture of the back of Gamera's shell. This is dead on with all the detail you can possibly capture in it. This figure just looks incredible. Going down here to the tail, you can see you have these little layers of the carapace going down. All of it, again, very beautifully detailed out. Just turning back around here a little bit to the hands, you can see he's got his individually sculpted little claws. And again, they just look incredible on this guy. All the little skin wrinkles and folds. And then going down to the front of his carapace, I can't remember what the front of the carapace is called on a turtle, so bear with me. But on his chest here, you can see he's got all these little wrinklings on his little shell pieces. It's again just incredible the amount of detail that they got in this guy. And I've talked about this with the old Baragon figure too, but nice as a lot of the modern figures are, it's really crazy to see where Bandai used to be with their vinyl figures. These weren't really meant to be collector's figures, these were really meant to just be nice looking toys back in the day. And just the level of detail in these things is unbelievable. And the fact that this is how they used to get made is really crazy. You can see his feet, he's got all these little skin wrinkles. And then his little individually sculpted claws on the toes. I mean, what else can I say? This guy is absolutely taking home a 5. This figure looks dead on for how we saw Gamera in the movie, with only a tiny bit of toyification, but the detail on it is just unreal. This is such a beautiful figure to have on your shelf. So coming up here now on the color and paint applications, this part is a little bit harder because just looking over the main figure, you can see most of the paint is really good looking. Where the paint is applied is beautifully done. Just looking up here at the teeth, you can see looking at him, he's got almost no sloppiness around the mouth. Coming down here to the claws, they've got a little bit of that cloudy effect to them near the base, but the claws themselves are beautifully done. And even the cloudiness looks good. I wouldn't call it bad, it's just an interesting choice for the figure. I really like the effect that it gives, but I'm not sure that everybody's going to. Same with the toes, they did pretty much the exact same thing. And the part that I'm really having a hard time with is just the chest. Gamera does have a different colored chest in the film, but it's much more of a dark brown. It's not this like bright, vibrant golden color. It doesn't look bad, but it's a little too bright, and especially the cutoff between the neck and the chest is just very jarring. It's very obvious they were two different pieces just stuck together. You know, they don't have any of this gold paint on the neck piece. I think I'm gonna go with a 4 for the color and paint applications. The base color is, you know, it's exactly Gamera's color. The eyes are painted beautifully, teeth, claws, everything about him that's painted is well done. It's just that division between the chest and the fact that the chest isn't quite 100% accurate. It makes him stand out a little bit more than, you know, his natural colors would. And I can't really say that I'm happy about it. It's just definitely a creative choice. So I'm going to go with a 4. The parts that are good are really good. It's just a little bit with the chest that's throwing me off. So finally, looking at the pose and articulation, this guy, I'm just going to give it right off the bat. It's going to be a 3 just because, again, with all of these vinyl figures, like, it's fine. It's very okay. It looks good on the shelf. It's just you don't have a whole lot you can do with it. You can pose these arms, which I think is really nice, but the neck doesn't have any real articulation. You know, it wiggles a little bit, but because the way it's set up, you can't do anything with it. The legs as well, to maintain stability, you can't actually really pose them all that much. And the tail, though it can be posed, is not something you really, again, want to do with the shelves. These are choices that are probably great if you're playing with the figure, but to have it displayed, again, the only thing you can really do with it is the arms. And the main pose is good, but it's just there isn't any variability to it, so I'm going to give it a solid middle of the road score of 3. And this won't be affecting the rating at all, of course, but here's his little hang tag. You can see on the front we have a beautiful picture of Gamera as he appeared in the movie. On the inside, just some more information, all written in Japanese. And on the back, again, just a beautiful little art piece of the figure. I have no idea what it says, but looks really nice. Isn't going to affect the rating at all, but yeah, just in case you're interested. So just for some quick size comparisons, here he is next to one of his fellow kaiju, Iris, and this again is the older version of the figure, not the new one that just came out a couple years back. Here he is next to Hyper Gyaos, next to Super Gyaos, next to Burning Godzilla, just for something from a different series, especially Godzilla, since I know most of you guys are going to have at least 1 or 2 of these. And just for an SH Monster Arts comparison, here he is next to the Gamera 2 from Advent of Legion. And this is just to give you a little bit more of a view into some other figures that he might be compared against. Finishing up with scores of 5, 4, and 3 in his main categories, Gamera is going to be taking home a final rating of 4, which I think is fantastic. This guy is a beautiful, amazing figure, but he is not meant to do much other than stand there and look good on the shelf, which is just fine. That's what he does best. So again, Gamera today is going to be taking home a final rating of a 4. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me for today's review. I know we're all looking forward to the Gamera Rebirth SH Monster Arts reveal, so I just wanted to talk about some more Gamera in the meantime. Join me next time. We're going to be taking a look at the PNSO Tarbosaurus that was requested by my friend Girosaurus on Instagram, and I have been very excited to talk about that chunky boy for a while. In the meantime, enjoy. Check me out on Instagram if you do want to check out more toy content. I post my random figures from my collection, as well as the tie-in post for these reviews on there. It's at Trashbug Toys. You can also follow the link in my bio for just my general projects. You know, me and Henry are still working on the podcast. It came from a monster movie. For February, we have a couple interesting episodes coming up for the old sci-fi classic Species, as well as an even older classic, Night of the Lepus, if you want to see monster rabbits. Anyways, take care, you guys. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.